The original crew was Epilectrics.
Epilectrics.
Epilectrics, yeah. So
Right.
that's why my name is Leftelep. We started a crew, and then I said the guy that put me, he was a rapper, a local MC, and I looked up to him a lot. He said, "Okay, you can break. This is dope. You're gonna put together a crew. You're gonna do a show for us." He's like, "But whatever it is, it has to be something with epilepsy, you know?" So I was like, "Okay, so." Whatever. I was like, okay, fine. We'll be epilectrics. We made it as a joke, like on a flip on bag of tricks. We'll do the epilectrics. You know. So then, so we ran that as a joke for a while, and we just kind of kept the name. And then we came to Toronto. We're like, okay, well, this is a jokey name. Mariano invited us to our first crew battle in Toronto. It was actually Dizzy's first battle too, which is
Oh
kind of
wow.
fun. So yeah, and it was the same battle. I can't remember the name of the spot, but anyways, we'll get to that. We can talk about that later. But so we get in, we're on our way there. We're like, okay, serious battle. This is invite Toronto. Okay, we're gonna rep our skills, so we can't. Let's just pick a name. And we're listening to this rap track. We're listening to really underground stuff at the time, and somebody in the line said, "Oh, it makes no sense like Albino Zebra." And then we started thinking about that. We're like, "Oh, it makes no sense like Albino Zebra." We're like, that actually doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Oh, but does it make sense?" And we came up with all these theories of it. And we're like, "Whatever, that's it. We're Albino Zebra." And then we showed up at the jam, and I think they didn't even know what our name is. They're like, "Okay, you guys are from small town white guys. You got invited. So what's your name?" We're like Albino Zebra. They're like, "You sure?" We're like, "Yep, we're sticking with it."
Yeah.
So they were just like, perfect name. I just wanted to check.
Yeah. It's a good name.
And I think actually a lot of it was just like making fun of like breaking names at the time, like Battle Squad,
Yeah, yeah.
perfect breaking device, or whatever, like all these crazy names. So we're like, fuck it, Albino Zebra, A to
Yeah,
Z.
yeah. That's what I like about it. It's not
Yeah.
like it's just a name.
Yeah,
Like
it's just a name. People read into it. They give me. I've heard a lot of theories that people told me about what it means. I'm like, sure.
yeah, yeah. But that's cool. Like yeah, it's a cool sounding name and
Yeah,
people can read into it if they want to or they can
sure.
not. And it's
Yeah,
not like super breaking battle whatever, yeah, that kind of thing.
yeah. Our crew styles. We don't. I don't know if I'm sure you figured this out. We don't really take ourselves too seriously, and that's
Yeah,
part of our
yeah.
development.
Yeah, well you have that motto like dare to be stupid kind of thing, right?
Dare to be stupid. That's
Yeah.
from Transformers.
Is that from Transformers? I thought that
It's
was
from Transformers. Actually, Tintin gave me that one because he used to break, and then he used to tell me. I reminded him of the Transformers the movies. When they go to visit Wreck-Gar and they go on that like Wreck-Gar planet, the
it's been
robot
way too
planet.
long since I've seen it.
Anyway,
But
so they
yeah,
go on
yeah.
this Wreck-Gar robot planet, and there's all these like the guys
Oh
talking
yeah.
funny,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they dance to this song. It's "Dare to Be Stupid," right? So Tintin
Oh,
from
that's what it's
Original
from.
Roots, yeah. So he's like, dude, every time he dances, he's like, "Dare to be stupid." He keeps singing it out. So I thought it was so funny. I was like, okay, that's the motto.
That movie is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't that like they randomly swear too? It's like
Oh man, I don't know. I'd block that out.
there's just one part where they're like, oh, like
They
Unicron like
just
eats
leave
a
it.
planet or something, and I think it was like Jazz or something. And he's just like, oh shit, just randomly in the movie.
I just left it.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't even
Anyway,
remember because I swear so much. Anyways, I just assume everybody's swearing all the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for
Try
Dale.
not to swear on your podcast.
No, I don't care. I mean, it's yeah. Nobody cares.
Nobody
I don't
cares.
have any sponsors or anything like that to please or whatever.
It's not
So
for the kids. It's not for the kids.
it's for
Okay?
anyone who wants to listen. All five people that are listening.
It's for real
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. But I always thought Dare to Be Stupid was like a Weird Al Yankovic thing. Anyway,
Yeah, you got to be vulnerable, man.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's
When you're
the
coming
that's
out, you're wearing a zebra hat, and your crew's called up on a zebra, and you're not doing any of the cool moves, and
yeah.
you got to be like, okay, I'm just a vulnerable human in this position.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really important thing to bring up like, one of the things that I've been just thinking a lot about recently is like, freestyle and what goes into that. Cause like, I used to be complete opposite. I had to have like I do this, then this, then this,
Mhm.
and super
Yeah,
like
I always wanted to be like you. That's the way.
yeah, well, like, I'm the opposite, right? I always wanted to be like you. Like you,
That's the way it is.
Jester,
That's the way.
like all these people who could just like create in the moment, create off the top of their head
Yeah,
and do that. Yeah. But like that's one thing that I learned is you really you got to kind of like kill your ego or your this image of yourself, who you are and how you look
yeah,
to
you
other
do.
people and just like you
Yeah,
said
you
dare to
do.
be stupid.
It's not easy. It's
Oh
the
yeah.
emotional toll is the hard part. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's really crazy. Like
yeah,
the more you get into that, the more you kind of like it's I don't know, like you look at yourself, but it's kind of like a it's almost like therapy almost in
it's
a
a
way.
crazy thing. It is like therapy, and
Yeah.
it is actually therapy,
Yeah, right.
especially now. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm dancing a lot lately, and it's
Oh, that's good.
100% therapy.
Yeah.
Um, but it's the hardest part, I would say, for my approach or our approach is that when you're freestyling all the time, you don't actually have any ownership over anything.
Mhm. Yeah.
So like there's nothing I actually have that's like, oh, I've worked out this thing and this is my thing and I present my thing and this is me, you know?
Right, right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what I am and when you're changing all the time, you're always like adopting and sort of
Yeah.
absorbing and letting out and you're just sort of a vessel.
Mm.
Then you're like almost nothing, you know? You're just feeling in the moment and then it's gone. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But
gone. There's no painting to sell, you know?
yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
one thing that's come up a
So
lot
it's part of the
recently.
struggle,
Yeah.
but part of the therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I've always kind of admired that about you and about yeah, your crew and stuff. Like you guys have always just had that I guess tradition of just really being in the moment and like the older I get and the more that I learn about breaking, like that was a huge part of it was in the beginning was just like that's what it was. It was you hear music and it's not like especially in the beginning when they didn't even know what they were doing, what breaking was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Totally.
thing. Like it was
Yeah.
just a reaction to music. Like
Yeah. Totally.
yeah. So yeah, I've always like respected that about you guys that you've
And maybe that's the ownership too, is because when we started, it's
yeah.
like we didn't have anybody around to mentor, and there's
Mm,
really not many videos. So
mm,
you're spending so much time just trying to figure it out, like just
true.
being in the moment because there's no other moment to be in. It's you're not waiting, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah.
But like I still think that in particular like you and Jesse have like carved out these even though you guys are doing these creating in the moment kind of like it's there and then it's gone kind of things
Hmm.
like you guys have developed not necessarily moves but like a way of moving and so
Yeah, so
like
that's where I'm at now is
yeah.
like I think and looking back and trying to figure out okay, and it's embodied, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether I'm conscious of it, I'm doing these embodied movements
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm conscious of it or so now I'm trying to go back and be like okay, so what is the freestyle breaking system, what is the approach, and then now it's sort of looking at what concepts am I considering, what am I actually thinking about
Mm-hmm.
when I do it, so
Mm-hmm.
that I can kind of explain it to people, or when I do a workshop so I can kind of put people in that situation real quickly without them having to go through all the frustration of figuring it out because
Yeah, but like I don't I almost don't think that you can get to that kind of thing, that kind of like mindset quickly. There is no shortcut at all to that. Like you can tell people about it, but until they actually actively practice it and like
yeah,
try
for
to
sure.
do and it's the kind of thing like
And most people find it very frustrating. To be honest, like when I teach a
yeah.
workshop, they're always like, "Oh, wow, that's so, that's really cool." But then you can tell they're like, most of them you feel are just really awkwardly going through the motions of that.
Yeah. But
Being like, this
like
isn't like the good feeling that I'm used to. This is like very like
yeah.
sketchy, and I have to deal with a lot of movements that aren't dope and aren't polished, and
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
accept those, and
Yeah, and that's like what we said with you gotta you gotta let go. It's a lot of like letting go of these things, like the way that you thought it was, thought it's supposed to be, or how I'm supposed to look, or whatever, or what the image, like your
And
own
having, sorry,
self-image of what you think you are, that kind of thing, and you just let it go. If you, but that's hard.
it is hard.
Yeah.
And you just, part of it is just having confidence in style,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
having confidence in style that, just absorbing all the things that you've kind of taken in, all the music, all the beats, the art, that just sort of that hip hop
Mm-hmm.
entity, that style, and just being comfortable knowing that no matter what, if I fall, I'm gonna find a flavor. I'm not. There's no give up point. It's always
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so if it ends and it falls, it's like, okay, this is just the end. The falling part is okay. Now that's the beginning of the next thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Like
wretched journey. It's fun. It's
that's
frustrating and it's fun.
Now really vibe.